Hey everyone! In our last session, we wrapped up the color section of our foundation. Today, we're going to dive right into the next step, iconography. Let's get started. Today, we're going to talk all about iconography. Icons are so much more than just simple drawings. They shape the entire look of your screen and help you communicate with developers using set rules. Let's dive in and learn all about them. In this first section, we're going to look at icon sizes and touch targets. Let's go over the basic measurements you absolutely need to keep in mind when placing icons on your screen. Icons are mainly divided into three types depending on their purpose. First, we have system icons that guide features like back buttons or settings. Then there are larger product icons that act as the face of your service, and animated icons that move. Among these, system icons are what we create most frequently in real-world projects. So for the rest of this course, we'll be focusing primarily on system icons. To make it easy for a human finger to tap comfortably, you need at least a 48 pixel area. This doesn't mean you should make the icon image itself 48 pixels big. Designers can just create it at 24 pixels, and developers will set the touch target to 48 pixels during coding. So, how do real-world design systems set up their icon sizes? Material design uses four main sizes: 20, 24, 40, and 48 pixels. On the other hand, IBM's Carbon design system uses 16, 20, 24, and 32 pixels. While each system varies, they usually agree on a key size scale in advance, like 16, 20, 24, 32, and 48 pixels to fit different needs. The most common default size is 24 pixels, and you can pick the right size step depending on your screen density or context. The second part is all about keylines and optical adjustments. These are super handy rules that make different shapes, like squares or circles, look the exact same size to our eyes. When building icon guidelines, you first need to pick a main box size that fits your service. In real-world projects, we mostly use three canvas sizes as standards: 24 pixels, 32 pixels, and 48 pixels. Let's take a look at how each design system builds its framework within these sizes. First up is Google's Material Design 24-pixel canvas, which is the most widely used global standard. It's perfectly optimized for mobile screens, and the guidelines are designed so that basic shapes like circles and squares share the exact same visual weight inside this small box. Next up is IBM's Carbon design system, which uses a 32-pixel canvas. The principles are very similar to the 24-pixel standard. However, it's chosen to give a sharper, cleaner density on wide desktop web screens or complex dashboard displays. IBM clearly sets up four main key lines to prevent visual illusions. A wider square is drawn slightly smaller, while circles and horizontal or vertical rectangles are adjusted to look visually identical in size. Following this framework ensures that any shape you draw will always feel consistent in scale. Finally, let's look at Phosphor's 48-pixel canvas. The canvas frame itself is quite large at 48 pixels. However, it uses generous padding inside to maximize the visual impact and breathing room of the core icon shape. Now, all three sizes we just looked at share one key thing in common. They never fill the graphic all the way to the edges, always leaving a safe padding or trim area around the outside. If you draw without any margins, the edges can get slightly cut off on real devices, so you definitely want to leave this space empty to keep your graphics fully protected. In our last section for today, we're going to cover style consistency. These are practical rules to keep a unified look, making it seem like everything was created by just one person, even when a whole team is working on it. They also help your icons stay crisp and sharp on every single device. Stroke width is the absolute most important element that shapes the impression of your icons. I highly recommend using a 2-pixel width as your standard, since it looks the sharpest on mobile screens without being too thin or too thick. This specific thickness delivers your brand's voice in the most stable and reliable way. Ever set your stroke thickness and wondered, why does this look so blurry? It's very likely because you use decimal numbers for your stroke width. Using decimals like 1.8 or 1.6 pixels places lines right on pixel boundaries, creating a half-pixel blur effect. For crisp visuals, I highly recommend sticking to whole pixel numbers, like 2 pixels. You also need rules for diagonal lines, like those in magnifying glass or airplane icons. If you just use any random angle, those diagonal lines can end up looking messy and broken. It's best to use 15-degree increments to keep half pixels to a minimum. Usually, sticking to 45 or 90-degree angles will help you create much sharper and cleaner lines. When you're drawing shapes with big curves, like a paperclip, or complex lines, you need to be flexible with your stroke width. Even if you keep the standard 2 pixels for straight lines, try shrinking it down to 1.5 pixels in tight corners, or where curves turn. This prevents the icon from looking all clumped up and helps it stay crisp. Setting these thickness rules for complex shapes keeps them from losing their form and makes everything look much more polished. Finally, you need to decide whether your service will mainly use line types or field types. If you choose line types, make sure to strictly follow the stroke width rules we just covered. If you go with field types, you'll want to tweak them so every icon feels equally weighted. Setting a clear type from the start is what makes your entire icon set look like a unified family. So far, we've walked through all the basic rules of an icon system. We went step by step from icon types and touch targets to keylines, optical adjustments for visual balance, and rules for consistent stroke widths and styles. Just sticking to the guidelines we covered today will help you create much cleaner and more cohesive icons. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm Dudu.